If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. We welcome you to today's show and ask those of you who have not subscribed to please subscribe to our YouTube channel as we continue to expose the satanic Illuminati agenda and the ushering in of the Antichrist. Today's show is a very important one. I touched on this earlier in June. I talked about this Together event, which is scheduled for July 16th. So it's coming up this week. I've seen other channels have picked up on the story and are talking about it, which is great, which is what we all need to do is share this information if we see something that's very, very suspicious. That's what this event is. So let's talk about it. It's called the Together event 2016, also called Reset, which is very bizarre, the word reset. They could be hinting at starting something over. A lot of Illuminati symbols have the meaning of restarting, starting over, but them being eternal. We can start with the guy who's running the event, Nick Hall, who happens to be 33 years old, because we know how numerology works, and we're going to get into numerology and how the occult uses numerology. This event is filled with all types of numerology, all types of hints that this could be a very dangerous place to be. Okay, and in general, I know people have been messaging me saying, is it a good idea to go? I mean, listen, this idea, this concept of 1 million Christians being out in public just has all of the writings on the wall of some type of event occurring. I've been talking about the censorship of Christianity on this channel over and over and over. Okay, the fact that they're allowing this to go on, that it's getting no media coverage, should raise a lot of people's eyebrows. So you get Nick Hall, who's 33. You see him, of course, with Billy Graham. We've seen some of Billy Graham's infamous handshakes, his Masonic handshakes. We get Pope Francis, of course, endorsing the event, which is an immediate red flag. When Pope Francis is endorsing it, he's not going to be there live, but he's going to be sending a message to the event. So that's a very, very skeptical thing that Pope Francis and the Vatican have an involvement with this. And obviously the date being the big one. We know how they operate with dates and how significant they are to them, especially with September 11th and other events that we've seen occur. 777. That's what July 16th, you add the 6 and the 1 at 7, 16, 7. So it's 777. Okay, we know how they operate. They like things in threes. The number 777 is very ritualistic. Aleister Crowley's book 777 and other Kabbalistic writings. That's the name of his book that he has. So this date is very significant to them. The fact that it's going to be occurring right in front of the Washington Monument at the National Mall, the fact that it's occurring there, the Washington Monument, like I've said over and over, is 6,660 inches tall, 666 inches wide. The obelisk represents Baal's shaft. It represents Satan's shaft. And of course, you have the giant reflection from the lake with the obelisk bouncing off of it, representing as above, so below. So you have 1,000 Christians there in front of this satanic obelisk. And to me, they could be sitting ducks for a false flag event. I'm not making predictions here. I'm just saying this is a warning to be careful, to be suspicious of events like this. People need to be able to use discernment and look at things like this and say, okay, this, an event like this, when we see all the censorship in Christianity where Christians can't even bring a Bible to school, where Christians can't have Bible verses on their car. We see the Jesus bench, in Colorado where they're banning Jesus' name. I mean, all of this stuff. And you're telling me that they're going to let 1 million Christians get together outside of this satanic monument and, with all of these bands who have tie-ins to the Illuminati playing music and praising Jesus Christ and nobody's protesting it. Okay, I talk about a small town that had crosses up for Memorial Day. They had to take them down because one person protested it. So nobody's protesting it. Nobody has a problem with it because you could see the tie-ins, the Masonic tie-ins here with Nick Hall. You also see Nick Hall's website is the Pulse movement, which is very eyebrow-raising as well with the Pulse, hoax shootings down in Florida. His website is Pulse Movement. Okay, so all of this stuff raises your eyebrow. The number 777 specifically is something to be warned about, that specific date. You get the Ouroboros too in the name together. If you look at the logo here, at the O, that is an Ouroboros. I did a video on the Ouroboros. I'll link it below if you haven't seen it and what the symbol means. But It's pretty much the snake chasing its own tail. It's an Illuminati symbol about recreating itself, the eternal return, and other things such as the phoenix, which operate in cycles that begin anew as soon as they end. That is an Illuminati symbol. That is what it means. I'll say it again. Recreating itself, the eternal return, and other things such as the phoenix. We know the phoenix represents Satan rising out of the ashes, which operate in cycles that begin anew as soon as they end. It is an Illuminati symbol. Now, this event also called reset. So think about that. Put one and one together with the Ouroboros, with the Illuminati, using this symbol over and over, and its meaning to them. And then this event using the Ouroboros and the O in together, very eyebrow raising if you ask me. And reset also being the name of the event. It has two names, together also known as reset. So it has two names, this event. So very suspicious stuff going on. And then, of course, you get at the bottom of the website. Now, I know that people are going to say, well, the symbol represents ASL. It's for the hearing impaired. But look at the bottom in the corner. You see the two 666s with the hands. I mean, come on here. There's a lot of things on this website. There's a lot of things that raise your eyebrows about this event, whether it's the date, whether it's the involvement of Pope Francis and the Vatican, whether it's these Illuminati bands who are going to be playing, the Ouroboros and the logo, the 777, which is so significant to them, the guy who's running it being friends with Billy Graham. We see Billy Graham with the Masonic handshakes. We have Nick Hall, who's 33 years old. He has the Pulse Movement website. I mean, there are a lot of things that are very concerning about this event. So this is a warning to keep your eyes open about it. I'm not making a prediction. I'm saying a warning. You have to use discernment and look at these things and say, okay, this is a little bit suspicious here. The media hasn't picked up on it, that there's going to be 1 million Christians when in every state going on in the United States of America, we have people protesting Christians, whether it's censorship, a public park where parents were giving out lunches, reading Bible verses, became, national news pretty much, that, it's not allowed. They shouldn't be allowed to be reading Bible verses in the public park. You're telling me nobody is raising an eyebrow? Nobody's talking about this, saying their Christians shouldn't be allowed to be there. Where are the Satanists protesting? Okay, you get the Noah's Ark event. We had atheists protesting outside of that. After they built this ark for $100 million, the atheists show up outside protesting. We have all these protests around the schools with people not wanting, Christianity or Bibles being allowed in school. Nobody has a problem with this. 1 million Christians showing up outside of this monument here in a public setting where they're going to be worshiping Jesus Christ. I mean, very, very suspicious. Now, what worries me about this is a false flag event occurring where people actually are sacrificed. What really concerns me here, obviously, is the human life that could be lost because there's going to be a lot of people there. But if something does occur here, think about what it would do to Christians. Think about how Christians would turn into wanting war, how they would talk Christians into everybody. This is what they need to do. They need to get everybody together as one, right? They need to get everyone as one. Right now, they have the Christians on the outside because they're still saying, well, Christians are against, the homosexuals. They had this whole, the event in Orlando, which got the gays united, against ISIS. Everybody wants to go after ISIS. Christians are still kind of on the outside. Now they can get the Christians in to wanting war with ISIS, to wanting World War III, merging everybody together. They'll start pushing this one thing. We all need to unite as one against ISIS. That's how it all begins, with a one world religion, with a one world government, and they can dupe Christians into wanting war, into wanting vengeance, all of these things that we shouldn't want as Christians. They will be able to use that as a psychological tool to dupe Christians into falling into this, and then eventually falling into this universal New Age deception, this New Age religion that they're pushing. So again, 777, means perfection. And Crowley's teachings, we know about how important numerology is in the Kabbalah and Satanism, and these dates are for these events that occur. They're specifically done on specific dates. September 11th wasn't a coincidence. It had to be on that date. They strategically had it on that date. So this could be a gigantic ritual that's occurring here. And I know people want to say, well, it's a good thing Christians are getting together. Yeah, but I mean, getting together for a music festival and this gigantic prayer that they're claiming, I mean, this is just very, very suspicious, okay? So I would be very, very careful, and I would keep my eye on this event. I would keep my eye on it and watch for it. It's coming up next week on the 16th. And again, even if it isn't a false flag event that's occurring there and nothing goes on, it's still going to be some type of ritual that goes on because it is in front of this satanic Washington monument. Okay, this is a monument that was set up to pay homage to Satan. That's what it is. That's why its dimensions are 666 in width and 666 in height, 6,660 inches in height, right? With the reflection as above, so below, the Baphomet, all of this stuff is just very eye-burning. There's way too many things. If it was just one thing or two things, maybe not such a big deal. But with, all this stuff, which I'll reread to you, you got Nick Hall, 33. He's got a website, The Pulse Movement, tying into the Orlando shootings. Coincidence? Who knows? 777 is the date of Aleister Crowley, and 777, that number specifically meaning a lot to the occult and to Satanism. You get the 666 in the corner of the website. Yes, somebody will say it's for ASL, but still, shouldn't they be aware of what that symbol means? You're telling me these people don't know that it's a 666? And that it's strategically put there on the website. They really had to put it in the corner like that. They couldn't just have a link at the top that says ASL for people to click on and read. I think not. Then you get the Ouroboros, right? The snake biting its own tail. You get that in the letter O and together. Like I said, the Washington Monument with the Baphomet, as above, so below. You get Pope Francis' involvement. You get Billy Graham's involvement. You get this censorship of Christianity that's going on around the United States, but this is allowed to occur. All these people, to me, could be sitting ducks sitting there. So be careful, be observant, and pray for the people that are going to this event. Pray for their safety. Because if an event like this happens, this would be a false flag event. This would not be a PSYOP, not with 1 million people standing there. But this very well could be set up for some type of ISIS attack to unite everybody as one for World War III. So just be aware. I'm not making a proclamation. Other channels have been talking about it, okay, warning people about it to just be careful. It looks suspicious. That's what I'm doing as well. I talked about it in June. I warned about it then, saying, listen, this is very, very bizarre with all the involvement, the Vatican backing it up. All of this stuff is very suspicious. So you have to take signs. You have to look at them for what they are. They're there. They operate in plain sight. The elitists do. The Illuminati, the Synagogue of Satan, whatever you want to call them, they operate in plain sight. So with all this numerology, all these symbols on the website, the guy's age of 33, all of this stuff, to me, coincidences, there's no such thing. I don't believe in them. I never have. So even if a false flag event doesn't occur, this could be a gigantic ritual, a summoning of something. It could really be an invocation with the lyrics and the music and the bands that are involved have tie-ins to witchcraft and, all of this stuff. So something is going on here, whether it's spiritually going on or it's a false flag event. I would stay clear of this event. I would not recommend going if you're planning on going. Why don't you stay home and read scripture? Going to an event like this, it doesn't bring you closer to God because you're with 1 million people, who are there praying with you. Pray privately in your home, read your scriptures, find something else to do if you have plans. I would not go near this event. That's my warning. Okay, I hope 1,000% that I'm wrong. I'm sure that everybody else out there who's talked about it hopes 1,000% that they're wrong, that this isn't suspicious, that nothing's going to happen. But still, again, it could still just be some gigantic ritual that's occurring, whether, like I said, it's an ISIS false flag event or just a ritual. Something's going on here with the Vatican's involvement, Pope Francis's endorsement of this publicly. So be careful. If you guys have any other tips or you heard anything else about it, please comment in the message board. Everybody should be chatting with each other about it. Anything you hear, any news you hear on it, any changes in anything that's been added. Everybody keep each other updated on it. It's important to keep your eyes on these things. I thank you for listening to today's show. Keep everybody in your prayers who's going to this event, that they stay safe, whether it's spiritual warfare or it's an actual false flag event. They need prayers if they're going. So keep them in your prayers. I pray for everybody out there and their families. Thanks so much for listening to today's show. God bless all of you.